In this video, I'm gonna cover 3 main reasons why you would choose the Lumix GX9 camera. Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer and a Lumix ambassador from Helsinki, Finland. And in this video, I'm gonna cover 3 main reasons to choose the GX9 camera over the G90 or some other G series Lumix camera. But first, a disclaimer: this camera is not mine, it's on loan from Panasonic. But I'm not getting paid to make this video. I make this video and all my other videos just to share my experiences with you guys and to help you in your photography and to help you to choose the right gear. And please also consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and remember to hit the bell down there so you'll get a notification whenever I post a new video. The feature set on the GX9 is very similar to the G90 or any other current 20 megapixel Lumix camera, Micro Four Thirds camera. But there are some reasons why you would choose the GX9 instead of the G90 or some other G or GH series camera. And here are 3, in my opinion, most important reasons to go for the GX9. And the number 1 reason is the exterior design. And by that I mean, of course, how the camera looks. And that is important. There are many examples in the camera history to show you how important it is, how the camera looks. The exterior design can almost make or break the success of the camera model. Of course, the camera also has to be a decent photo making device, but if the exterior design is somehow not appealing to the consumers, then the camera probably won't sell that well, even if it is a decent photo making device. And the GX9 has the classic rangefinder design made famous by the Leica M series and some other classic. But of course, this is not a real rangefinder camera. This is autofocus camera, digital autofocus camera, but the viewfinder at the top left corner of the camera body makes this look like a rangefinder camera. But the design is also very practical. The camera body is almost like a small rectangular box, and that's very handy to transport and also store. And the size is a lot smaller than the G90, for example, so the exterior design is one good reason to pick this one over some of the G series cameras. And the number 2 reason is the tilting viewfinder and the tilt screen. The tilting viewfinder is almost unique feature for Lumix and for this camera. There are some other Lumix models to have the same tilting viewfinder feature, but not many other cameras. And the tilt screen is also very nice, especially for photography. And none of the G series cameras have the tilt screen. They all have the fully articulating so-called flippy screen. The viewfinder itself is so-called field sequential setup, which some people find distracting and irritating when they move their eyes quickly from side to side. I don't find it distracting, so it's a highly personal matter if it's a bad design or not. The tilt feature itself is really handy for close-up photography, even street photography, and especially if you put your camera on a tripod and you for some reason want to use the viewfinder to compose your shot, then this feature is really handy and practical. And the tilting screen is also much better for photography than the so-called flippy screen. This kind of a screen is so much faster to use. It always stays behind the camera, and it's also very much like the old-fashioned waist-level viewfinder found on many of the medium format film cameras. This type of a screen is not very good for vertical photographs if you are using the rear screen to compose your pictures, and it's also not very good for vlogging. But this camera is not a vlogger's camera anyway, so the screen setup doesn't really matter for that. So the tilting viewfinder and the tilting screen can be another good reason to pick this one over some of the G series cameras. But now let me show you a few pictures that I shot on this camera and the 12 to 60mm kit lens. This time I drove to the country for a change to get some different scenes in my pictures. Please enjoy. And if you like this video, please buy me a cup of coffee, there's a link down below. That would mean a lot to me, and it also makes it possible for me to make more of these videos for you. And when I was taking those pictures, I was again reminded how good and versatile this 12 to 60mm kit lens really is. The range is really versatile, the close-up capabilities are excellent, and also this is really sharp. And you only need to add one prime and you have a kit that is ready for, pretty much anything. But I understand the kit lens is not the same in every part of the world. So if you don't have this 12 to 60mm kit option, please leave me a comment down below. I'd like to hear how it is in other parts of the world. And now the third reason, which is the ergonomics or the user interface. This one has slightly different control setup compared to, for example, the G90 camera or some other G series cameras. The GX9 has two command dials and a separate exposure compensation dial and a D-pad at the back of the camera. But the G90, for example, and other G series cameras, they have two command dials and a third dial at the back of the camera, which also acts as the D-pad. And the G series cameras also have more dedicated buttons, like for the ISO and white balance. And like I said, it's a matter of preference which one you prefer, the G90 type of setup or the GX9 type of setup. But I think it's really nice that we have options because we all don't like the same kind of setup. So the control layout is another good reason to pick up the GX9 instead of the G90. For example, if you happen to like this kind of control layout more. The GX9 and other Lumix rangefinder type of cameras have a lot of fans. And this camera certainly would be really nice for travel photography or street photography where the compact size of the camera body is important. And this also has really nice video quality as almost every Lumix camera, but because there's no audio input, I would not recommend this for anything else than some casual video shooting or some B-roll footage. So there you have it, my three main reasons to pick the GX9 over the G90 or some other G series cameras. And here's my 12 to 60mm comparison between the kit lens and the Leica. Please check it out if you're interested. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one.